You know, I spend 2 seconds in the abyss, and you already got your hands on something very crazy.
Yeah, I got my hands on the new 2025 Porsche Macan electric Macan, the Macan 4, the new one.
This is the 4. So currently in the United States, you can get the turbo or you can get the 4. What does this 4 have for horsepower? Is it horsepower?
It's electric power. It's 382 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. And guess what? It actually gets a little bit more when you use launch control. It bumps it up to 402, so you get a 20 horsepower bump.
Here's my preface. The Macan is currently Porsche's best-selling car.
Yep.
It sells more than the 718s Cayman Boxsters, the Panamera.
Yep. And the 911 combined.
Is this a smart move? Because this is going to be all that the Macan is. They are getting rid of the internal combustion. However, there was a recent interview with Porsche executives that say they will continue to make the regular Porsche Macan for as long as there is
demand or sales.
So we're in this weird kind of thing, but here's what we got today. We have our hands on
the new Macan. And guess who lent it to us for this video? Porsche St. Paul. If you want the new electric Macan, make sure to go to Porsche St. Paul. If you want to go build your own Porsche Macan that's electric or any other Porsche and order one, go to Porsche St. Paul. I don't know how many used ones there are, so they probably don't have a great selection.
But they have a fantastic selection of new ones that you will order.
Yes.
All things aside, there are some pretty crazy, neat technology things on the inside. One thing that the US gets that Europe doesn't get as standard, you get the panoramic roof, you get air suspension, you get PASM,
and there was
adaptive cruise control.
Was that it?
That's the other thing. So for once in our lives as US citizens, we get a cooler car than those Europeans.
As standard. Because they could option them back in.
Let's get behind the wheel of this thing and see how it holds up to our rigorous driving tests. We are now inside of the all-new Macan EV. That's what we're going to call it for consistency's sake, right? So look at this navigation. So we got an all-new navigation system. What we do, let's say that we're going to Lambeau Field, right? We are not going to make it there on the charger that we currently have, and it knows where we're going to charge at, all right? So that is a good thing about this new navigation system. From playing with it, I have seen that this navigation system attached with the heads-up display, which you can't really see, it gives you augmented reality like directions, and really works pretty seamlessly. So I'm so used to just plugging in my phone and using Apple CarPlay and using that navigation. This Macan EV can very much change that. But let's talk about our phones again, right? When we're using our phone wirelessly with Apple CarPlay, the battery goes dead fairly quickly, right? Well, the new Macan has this wireless charging, and it actually has a 15-watt charger, which is 3 times more than the previous generation Macan. So it'll actually continue to charge your phone as you're using things like the navigation. One more cool thing about this is there's a little fan in here, and there's these pads here, so it's raised. So when you're charging your phone and using it on a drive, you pick up your phone, it's not going to be hot because it gives you that airspace there to charge your battery in a cool environment. That is cool.
Anybody else want to say nerd?
It's got some pickup.
It's not slow.
It is not slow. So this is the Macan 4.
Yep.
Currently, your other option is a Macan Turbo,
which has a lot more power.
This is 30 grand cheaper than the Turbo. If I'm guessing, mark my words, in a year from now, I think the majority of the sales are going to come from the Macan 4. Eventually, when you get the rear-wheel drive model, That's only $5,000 cheaper than this one.
I think they're still going to sell Macan 4s. Not all-wheel drive ones. Like, even when it's available. I think spending the extra $5,000 is worth it.
I agree.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, so I don't think that you're going to be buying that $5,000 cheaper one. It's just not worth it. I don't know if you need a turbo because we're talking about an EV here. They're all snappily quick.
And none of them are actually turboed.
So in here, what do you got in the cabin? It's nice and quiet.
Yep.
I would say you don't hear a lot of the outside noise, which
No.
is a really unique thing about EV cars because you don't have the natural sound of the engine, which drowns out a lot of this stuff.
Yep.
So their sound deadening has been really, really good. In the back seat of the new Macan, it is the entire wheelbase is 3 inches longer. So you are getting more room for your passengers, which means that unlike most other Porsches, you are able to have 4 human adults in there.
Okay, one thing I just noticed about this car, we do not have the electric sport sound on. If you turn it on, it gets to be more. But in the off position, it still makes the Jetsons noises in normal mode, not Sport Plus.
For me,
You can hear it, it's quiet, but you can hear it.
yep, I do kind of like the Jetson noise.
Yep.
Because it gives me an audible reminder
That you're driving a car?
that you're driving a car.
Yeah.
Completely silence is kind of nice as well, but that's my preference in it.
Yep.
As far as handling, here's where Porsche does it well. They have been designing cars forever,
That they have.
right? This is every bit any Porsche you drive. The steering feel is amazing. It's light.
He's trying to make me sick.
It has a little bit of body roll, but nothing that you wouldn't expect from really what this is as being a hot hatch, right? This is the best version.
It's a hot hatch on stilts. It's an SUV.
Yes, yep. But I think that's my analogy is like this really feels more like a sports car hot hatch than it does a full-blown SUV.
Okay, I can get behind that.
I'm kind of understanding the tech in here.
Okay.
The braking feels really good. It doesn't feel like you're getting that blend of the regen and your regular brakes.
Okay.
They have seamlessly integrated that into the package, and that is very hard for EVs to do.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I want you to get behind the wheel of this Macan EV
Okay.
and tell me your thoughts, how you think it drives. Would you buy one? Is this where it makes sense? Are we going to welcome in the change to all Macans being EV?
These are big, scary words you're saying.
Right? Get behind the wheel of this thing, and I want to hear what you think. So sitting in the back of the brand new EV, with the wheelbase being 3 inches longer, you would think that the back seats would benefit from that. However, I would say that this is not quite the case.
There's not that much more room, if any more room than in your Macan.
The headroom is the same, right?
Yep.
Like you can fit a 6-foot person in the back easily.
I am back here. I just would like a little bit more legroom. I am 6 feet tall, and this is not much better than the last Macan.
I think that wherever they put that 3 inches of extra room did not go into the back seat. One thing that I'll mention is that new heads-up display, which you can't see on camera, they made it so that it's like looking at an 87-inch TV from 30 feet away.
We say you can't see it on camera, but better YouTubers than us probably can find a way to get it on camera.
What do you think is a distraction? Do you think it's nice? What's your thought? It's got some good juice there.
That was not as fast as it would accelerate. This car is unique to drive because it is very much so an SUV compared to, like, I'm just thinking about the Taycan because that's the other EV Porsche makes. This car is different.
It is. So one thing that I do like about it is that because it is a heavy car, it's over 5,000 pounds. With the weight of the batteries below your feet, it does have a good like low center of gravity, right?
Yep.
And the other thing that Porsche has also done is they have better balanced the car. So there's 48% of the weight up front and 52 in the back. So it does give you a better,
More weight in the caboose.
sporty feel, right?
I like this car.
I do like with the so the tech is what's really cool in this car.
It is very cool tech. The weirdest thing that I am having is this heads-up display. It's a bit wonky in my opinion. It's not bad in any way. It's just abnormal.
And when you have the navigation set to a place, we don't do it now because it's would be telling us to go all these different directions, right?
Yep.
But when you do that, up on the heads-up display, it does give you arrows, and it is that augmented reality thing, which I think does help. And it does also, when you're getting close, like your lane change assist,
Yep.
it puts a red line in the center line, right?
Yeah, it does.
And it also lights up the lights, the ambient lighting. You can't see it, but that ambient lighting that's down there, it lights up that as well.
Okay.
So I think tech-wise, this is a huge win.
It's a pretty unique vehicle. I'm having to remember this is not a sports car. This is not a typical Porsche. It is completely different than what I would expect when I hear the word Porsche, go drive the car, right?
Right.
If you just tossed me the keys and were like, hey, this is just another Porsche, I would be very confused.
And with a range of over 300 miles, is like 308 miles if my memory serves me right, they are getting better with their ranges.
That they are.
And with the fastest charging, like that 800 watts, I'm not super good at this, but whatever like the highest charging is that you would get at like Porsche dealers, right? It will charge from 5 to 80% in something like 21 minutes.
Oh, that's real impressive.
So you are longer than a gas station, but it's not crazy long. I think that we're not quite at the point where an EV makes complete sense.
It does if you live in a city with very good charging support.
Yes, and Porsche is making vehicles that are complete Porsche DNA, but are EVs.
Not slow, not fast. Hey, it gives me my G-forces that I did in that acceleration run after I let off the gas. In case you're wondering, we did 0.6 Gs of acceleration.
That's the biggest thing that I'm taking away from this.
This
Macan
has a lot of cool tech.
Is a lot of cool tech, and it's not annoying tech or useless tech. It is good, fun tech.
Yeah.
The driving experience is just like a Macan.
Yep.
I mean, you're not getting the engine noises, but it feels every bit of a Macan that I've grown used to. What do you say we get to the outside of this car, give them some final thoughts, and see if an EV finally makes sense? Did Porsche finally make a car that makes sense to buy an EV?
That's a big ask.
Welcome to the tail end of our video.
Yep. It's an amazing 2025 Porsche Macan electric SUV. It's amazing for an electric car. It does lack some soul.
I think that's the issue that we're going to run into as the years progress.
With all electric cars, they're all going to lack some soul, and that's something we hang up on every time we make an EV video.
For what it is, if you need or desire an EV,
yes,
this hits a good price point. You're at about 80 grand.
Yep.
For an all-wheel drive, over 300 miles range, family vehicle.
Over 400 horsepower as well when you're using launch control.
So it is a really amazing package. It comes standard with PASM, standard with air suspension, standard with the panoramic roof, and standard with adaptive cruise control.
All great options, all that make life just that much better when you get in your Porsche.
There is some amazing tech. That is where this shines.
Yes, it is otherwise an SUV that is good, but it's an EV. It doesn't have that extra character beyond the tech. which is fine. That's the way things are. People that buy EVs, and most likely the people watching our video, like that extra tech.
Which, I mean, this is
It has some pretty cool tech.
It is the most mind-blowing tech that I have seen in an EV to date.
Yes, it's amazing tech. If you're looking for this vehicle, make sure to go to Porsche St. Paul and order one. Like I said earlier in the video, I don't think they have many used cars to buy because I don't know how many have been delivered yet.
I think this is the new Porsche EV that you are going to be looking for. Taycans are amazing vehicles.
Yep.
Their price point is quite a bit higher, right?
I would say this is better than a Taycan.
That's
a controversial opinion.
It fits a mold where I think that this segment, the EV segment, needs this vehicle. Make sure you go to Porsche St. Paul. Make sure you check one out. Make sure you order one. It is a very amazing car.
It is.
Being an EV.
It's just, I like the pops and the grumbles and the engine.
Well, we argue about the usefulness of an EV and how amazing internal combustion engines are. Make sure you give each other an awkward high five. Click like, comment, and subscribe. Head to Porsche St. Paul and maybe we'll see you there.
And I'm going to start talking about internal combustion engines again. They go boom, clack, boom.